Just a little background on Dr. Hrabowski. In 2008, he was named one of America's best leaders by U.S. News and World Report, which ranked UMBC as the nation's #1 up-and-coming university for 6 years, from 2009 to 2014. Time magazine named him one of America's 10 best college presidents in 2009 and one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2012. In 2011, Dr. Hrabowski received both the TIAA CREF Theodore Hesburgh Award for Leadership Excellence and the Carnegie Corporation of New York's Academic Leadership Award, recognized by many as the nation's highest award among higher education leaders. A youth leader in the civil rights movement, Dr. Hrabowski was prominently featured in director Spike Lee's 1997 documentary, Four Little Girls, on the racially motivated bombing in 1963 of Birmingham's 16th Street Baptist Church. His most recent book, Holding Fast to Dreams, Empowering Youth from the Civil Rights Crusade to STEM Achievement, describes the events and achievements and experiences that played a central role in his development as an education and a leader. Born in 1950 in Birmingham, Alabama, Dr. Hrabowski graduated from Hampton Institute with highest honors in mathematics. He received his Master's of Arts in Mathematics and PhD in Higher Education Administration Statistics from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Freeman Hrabowski, President of the University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
Congratulations. So much. Thank you so very much. As a son of the South, as a Christian, as someone who grew up in Birmingham, I can only say that I first think that somehow my parents are smiling from above. Those of you in the room who've had the experience of losing parents know that they're always with you. Those of you who are blessed to have your parents and family members with you today, savor this moment. Give them another round of applause. All the families in the room, savor this moment. Young people, when you hear people giving you an introduction, the longer the introduction, remember, the older you are. So I'm always wanting people to cut it as short as possible. I begin with poetry. William Carlos Williams once said that it's difficult to find news in poetry, and yet men and women die miserably every day because of a lack of what is found there. It was our beloved Maya Angelou, the late Maya Angelou, who said some years ago to this nation, "Lift up your eyes upon this day breaking for you. Give birth again to the dream." Women, children, men, take it, this dream, into the palms of your hands. Mold it into the image of your most public self. Sculpt it into the shape of your most private need. Here on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face and say simply, very simply with hope, good morning. Good morning, Georgia Tech. Good morning. Good morning to the class of 2016. This is an exciting time. It really is. I asked some of your fellow graduates today to help me determine what I would say. And Diego and Nigel and Nick were really helpful. Wherever you are, stand up, guys. Let them see you. Please give them a round of applause. They're in the audience. They were very nice. Very nice. And Trevino and Samantha helped them, who are graduating later. And as I was coming down the hotel in the elevator today, my wife and I were coming down, and there was a really happy mother there. And I asked her if she was going to coming here, and she said, "My daughter's graduating, and she's really good. She's graduating with high honors. She's really good," as the parents will say about their kids. And so Sage is somewhere in the audience in civil engineering. Sage, wherever you are, stand and be surprised, because your mama's really proud of you. This commencement is all about you, class, and I want to connect for just a minute. I could never have imagined as a child in Birmingham 50 years ago that one day I would be standing here. Georgia Tech has always been, to those of us in the South and in the entire country, Mr. President, a place known as a leader. This is a place where people of very high achievement come, and you have led not only in engineering and science, but as a moral leader in our society. It is a big deal that in 1961, you decided without any court order at all to admit people of all backgrounds because you wanted to do the right thing. Give Georgia Tech a round of applause for doing that. It's a big deal. It really is. And I want you to think about the fact that you will be the bridges, whether you are in science or engineering or business, you coming from an institution known for the best of technology in the world. And people will expect you to be that ambassador of those disciplines, because some people are saying, we're tired of hearing about STEM. What about the other areas? Well, you understand, and the students in your group told me, we know that we are often in science and engineering, but we also know some things about Georgia Tech, that on this campus, you have learned how to appreciate people from other backgrounds, from other states, from other countries, that you understand the importance of respecting humankind, that you know that while it is a technical school, that you have to think broadly, that you have to think beyond the problem. I am a mathematician. I get goosebumps doing math. Did you get that? Goosebumps. My campus is a place where math rocks. We get goosebumps, all right? And we like saying to the engineers, we produced you somehow. You couldn't do engineering without mathematics. But beyond the math, beyond the engineering, you have been taught the importance of the arts and the humanities, and that to do your jobs, you will have to learn and know how to work with other people from all kinds of backgrounds. And then you said you've been under tremendous pressure here, and that you've learned the importance of taking care of yourselves, of mental health, of balancing that which is emotional and spiritual, physical and intellectual. And so the key for you is that you have within you, from what your parents gave you, from what your faculty gave you, you have the knowledge you need to do what you need to do. And so you are the ambassadors. Many of you have been studying the grand challenges in engineering, from access to clean water, to health informatics, to genetic information for individualized vaccines. And most people don't understand those things, but you must be able to tell humankind, others, that without the work that you do, we would not be here. Whether talking about the air conditioning in here, or the lights, or the planes, or the cars, or the stoves, or the appliances, it all has in some way something to do with the work that many of you will do. Whether you're in business or engineering, you understand how strongly connected your disciplines are to people living their lives. Now, most people don't realize that any child born in 1900 had a predicted age span of about 47 years. In other words, in 1900, we expected the average person to live to be not quite 50 years old. How many people in this room are over 50? Raise your hands. You look good. You look really good. But let me tell you, if it were not for engineering and clean water and the sewage system, y'all wouldn't be here today. Give engineering a round of applause. Give engineering a round of applause. And there is my point. You hear me talking about math. Students, you must speak with pride about what you do. That it's not about a few people, it's about all of us. That you want to know the arts and humanities, but you also want to know these fields. The world will be so different. Your parents, when they went to college, did not have cell phones. Everyone, how many of you have a phone in your pocket right now? Raise your hands. Right? When many of your parents were in college, you know, in 1992, when I became president, they gave me a phone that I could put in my pocket for the first time, a portable phone. It was this big. And everybody went around with these big lumps on their sides. It was a source of pride because we had these big phones that we could take out and use. When I was in college, the futurist said this. He said, the day will come when people will walk around with phones in their pockets. And I got up and I said, I will prepare a math problem, a minimization, maximization problem to show you that we can never have people walking around with phones in their pockets because we wouldn't have enough lines to the walls long enough to do it. Do you get my point? I couldn't imagine wireless technology. And there is the point to you. Besides being an ambassador for these areas, you must be someone who can open your minds to the possibilities. Scientists are now talking about BrainNet, that we'll be able to, I'll look at you at one day. The time will come, I will look at you with sensors, whether they're in my brain or whatever, and I can communicate to you in motions and speech without even talking to you. That sounds unreal. One of my students, who's a professor of neurobiology at Duke, said 20 years from now, he said, you don't realize it, but right now, we communicate to people thousands of miles away. Why? Through a phone. Well, take the middle person out, the phone, all right? And somehow, we will be, through sensor technology, changing the world. The world will be very different. I want you to remember, you never have learned enough. You want to keep learning. Samuel Beckett said, when you look at the dancing of bees, you know they are learning how to communicate. And a character in a book said, here's something I could understand all my life and never understand. And the significance was, the more he understood how the bees communicated, the more he realized how much he had to know. The heart of wisdom, your parents will tell you, is not having a certain amount of knowledge. It's being able to keep asking good questions. I want you to ask why and why not. I want you to ask, who am I and what is the difference between being a piece of technology and being a human being? I want you to ask, how do we pull our country together? In the 60s, when I went to jail with Dr. King, the world was split. And yet, years later, we had many more people going to college of all backgrounds. You represent the dreams of so many Americans from 50 years ago. And now it is your time as a leader, each of you as a leader, to say to our country, our generation will change the world. We will find the common ground because we all believe in our children from any background. We all believe in some kind of faith that it takes more than just us. We all believe that if we can listen to each other, we can come to that point where we as Americans, helping the rest of the world, will say, we believe in ourselves. You are that generation. I am so excited to speak to you today because just as I couldn't imagine 50 years ago standing here, I can now imagine each of you having an impact on thousands of lives. I want you to get goosebumps with the idea you've gotten one of the best educations in the world. And I want you to watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character. I tell my students, your character has everything to do with who you are when your mama's not there. So watch your thoughts, they become your words become your actions become your habits become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny, dreams and values. Georgia Tech, you are a wonderful university. Class of 2016, you are amazing, and we can all be a great America. Thank you all very much.